Yeah. Gotta get this stuff posted. Yeah. What's up, crazy? Going. Come on. Load faster. Almost there. That only took it 6 ages, but did it. Sometimes that's what it takes, though, I guess. Couple images pulled up. What's up, Oozin? How's it going, man? How's the Diablo grind? Oh, the new character was like a Beastmaster or something. Could be totally wrong. I like one super random ad about it. What do I need? I want to do the Black Ant Lab tonight. So I need stuff to fight a boss. It's probably the one. Delayed? What a rip. How dare they? Good enough. I think this fight will be very difficult. And Ladybug? Probably easy. I'm lifesteal though, so it's pointless. Killing the ads and getting healing's not bad, but damage? Probably damage. Class is like the love child of monk and druid. That's kind of cool. The druid didn't, at least in the beginning, sound all that good. So if you added some monk to it, I mean, sounds dope to me. Can never go wrong with a little bit of monk in your life. I can sneakily get there now. Science. I think it's in the floor. Oh no, it's in the wall down here. That's where that is. Whee. It's like down in one of those areas. Too lazy to go get it. Oh, Monk was by far the best. It does depend on who you ask, but I think Monk was the best by far. It was so fun. It was just always like consistent. And it was so fun. Kind of do whatever you wanted. It was great. I definitely had the most fun playing that. Barbarian was too, like, just bashing your head against a wall or using spin to win. That was never very fun. Got repetitive. D4? Oh man, I couldn't. As fun as it sounds, it's like my whole life would be consumed. But I don't have enough time to let it consume my life, so it's fairly pointless because I would just not get to play enough. As fun as it sounds. I remember how much I had to play D3. It was a lot. Many hours. Be a problem. Let me in. Please? It was a very fun game, though. Crash them later. What if? Get all the stuff. Pretty much have no need for any of the upgrade stuff anymore, but I'm greedy. Can't help myself. Where's the tooth?
Black ant here, black ant there, black ants get everywhere.
Sure, this is just to the exit, but might as well clear it out.
This smells gross.
Alright.
And I
That's
usually
enough.
like the weird scratch and sniff smells.
Why is there raw science everywhere but nowhere? Where is it?
I'm feeling more sciencey already.
Almost like I kind of know my way around now. Kind of. Oh, I didn't bring a thing for the ant queen. Bummer. Doesn't really do me any good to be down here then. What a goober. I lied. I don't know my way around here. I'm totally lost.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Black soldier ant looking for a fight.
As always, I'm completely and hopelessly lost. I don't remember where the button is. You give me the stuff. Rude. It's not my fault I forgot. It's Uzin's fault that I forgot. He distracted me with his Diablo 3. I hate the black ant laugh. I literally get lost every single time. It's crazy. I don't hate it, but I do hate it, you know? This way? This way. Give it to me. You can't object. You can't distract me like that. Just not allowed. Get destroyed. One shot him now. That convenient. Somewhere. Now we go somewhere. Where is the question? Here. I remembered. I'm like Dory, I have short-term memory loss. Not totally sure how I feel about the Antlion Greatsword. I often find it's just better to use the club because of the stun. And this one with Implant Sour, since nothing's weak against it, makes it pretty good. It does just about the same amount of damage, sadly. Not ideal. The wheel of not ideal. What a bounce. They need to make those sticky grenades, man. I'll die on that. Why is that ant glowing? This is New Game Plus. So once you hit the end of the game, you've done everything, you can change the yard by remixing it, and that then allows you to fight different sort of enemies. It's kind of hard to explain necessarily, but it's New Game Plus is what it's called. So you get to remix the entire yard, do a bunch of different stuff, replay the game from the beginning without losing all of your like random you keep all your mutations, your builds, your items, weapons, food, everything that you've done. You just start the story over essentially, and then it makes those ants or any bug randomly at a 10% chance when it spawns. Has the ability to be infused, and it gets stuff like the staff attacks. So like a spicy or an explosion or a frost attack or a sour attack. Or it can have more health or damage resist, all sorts of random effects. Beaten the game a couple of times, but I guess I'll have to try this after I beat it again. Yeah, it makes it more difficult overall as well. Everything gets more health. What's up, Smokey? Everything gets more health. The bosses get more difficult. The bosses fights sort of change a bit. Like the Mantis fight is a bit different. And you can keep remixing through 10, and then it goes to X, essentially. You can infinitely make the game more difficult, but it gets really difficult. And if you haven't, just look up the 1.4 update. Because there's just the same thing, like my weapons. are also infused. So although this boss has infusions, I have sour damage up best and implant weakness sour. So once you get to New Game +4, you can get weapons that are infused with random abilities. Very fun. Very difficult. It can be pretty frustrating at times, but it's really fun. I thoroughly enjoy it. Why is this fight so easy? But all the other fights are so much more difficult. Ew. Thank you. Pretty sure you don't get any drops from this boss. This is the only one, right? Yeah. Just ooze. Yeah, you get ooze. You can upgrade weapons to level 15 as well. There's a few other new things as well. Wish you could. They should have made this a redoable fight. Honestly, I think that would have been more fun.
Nice and safe.
Would have been a good. Same with Director Schmechter, and then you could just farm the infused things, and they could have added more. There's also a bunch of new weapons. Like, they're kind of just reskins, but honestly, good enough. Like, I've had fun messing around with them. Assistant manager, new game becomes a laugh. Orb Jr. gives us more trouble. It's like so weird because like Director Schmechter's not very difficult either. But with the other bosses being so much more difficult at times, it does kind of surprise me that this fight seems so easy every time. This definitely feels weird. Like, that fight just feels way too easy. I have a really good weapon, and I'm only on mild, but even if I was on medium, it really wouldn't have been any more difficult. I just got tired of doing this fight. My favorite weapon is the Black Widow Dagger. You can get infused Black Widow Daggers. You can get pretty much any 2 abilities on that. Unfortunately, poison becomes kind of poop in New Game Plus, just because everything else, every single enemy gets so much more health now that it is definitely not anywhere near as difficult. Or I don't even know what I was saying. The health gets so scaled, like ridiculously high. Poison and all dot damage becomes pretty useless. Just does, it needs to do like percentage health damage or something to be better. And you fight Director Schmechter. Ever fought him on New Game Plus? I can. I'm not there. Well, I don't think I can fight him yet. I just got into New Game Plus 6, so I think I have to do all the labs and stuff first, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I think you have to get Tully down there, so I think I at least have to be at that point, so I couldn't do it tonight. I have to speedrun everything. Took a page out of your book and demolished all the dry grass above the barbecue. Totally worth it for bird collection. Yeah. Unfortunately, all the work that I did to cover it all, so it like caught every single thing, was now destroyed essentially. So I wasted a lot of effort with that part, but I need the extra build limit, sadly. So I had to delete most of it. But it's still a lot easier even with just getting rid of the grass and stuff. There we go. Is he tough? I'd say it's only difficult if you get a couple infused bugs like orc bugs, if those spawn infused, it can be annoying. More difficult than the assistant manager fight for sure, but I wouldn't say it's all that difficult. Especially once you have infused weapons, it gets really easy. Yeah, the build limit's just getting crazy grim. It's just getting ridiculous, honestly. I have deleted like a ton of random stuff that I've had built. Everything over by the barbecue, all the just random stuff. I could even destroy like sets of stairs if I wanted to. Zipline stuff I've all destroyed. I had like 150 roofs going up to get the fireflies up there, so I destroyed all those the other day. Destroyed every single thing I possibly can. Technically, I could destroy a bit more, but I'm hoping that what I've done so far should help. And then I'm going to keep clearing the grass as much as I can. I don't think it will help all that much, but I can't imagine that it does nothing. Because like all of that is rendered in, right? They made it sound like it was pretty minimal, but every piece counts, you know? Gotta do whatever we can. I'm gonna be sad if we get to like halfway or somewhere down here just before I'm almost done with all the houses and then like just run out completely. I'll cry. I need to go to Burgle too. So the idea for tonight is doing like a barracks, essentially. So like a military barracks sort of base in this area. That's where like the armory and some of that stuff would be as well. I have a couple ideas of how I want to do this, but it's going to be a little bit up in the air, and we'll just see what happens. But I thought the square place, since barracks are typically like a little armored wall, like interior castle space, because it guards all of the weaponry and stuff, and has like the city watch and all that as well, would be like somewhere central. Is a perfect square, so I think it's going to fit really well. And there's lots of space, because it's going to need to be pretty big since it's going to have multiple buildings inside. Nothing too big, but we'll see. Might have to get really big, but I got lots of space here. Talked to a dev too. They said it doesn't add much, but it does make a difference. That's pretty much what I was trying to get, like a straight answer just from the support team, and they didn't really give it. I still need to send them my world just to have them look at it. But they were like, player-built structures are going to have the largest effect on the on memory, so the more pieces you delete, the better it's going to be. And then he didn't say it would have no effect to get rid of the grass, but the way I understand it is they're sort of stored differently. So the player stuff is going to be a lot more effective to delete, and the grass is little effect, or much less, kind of. Yeah, Lava, this is the build space we're working on currently. It's a massive castle, sort of based off of King's Landing from Game of Thrones. This is where it started. It's kind of developed into its own thing at this point. But that's where it roughly started. And then we finished most of the big buildings. We have an observatory, a supporter temple, so like subscribers to the channel and stuff get their names on a chest in here. That observatory telescope thing is what we just finished not too long ago. The supporters, their names don't really load in, sadly. That part sucks. It takes forever. Then the cathedral, That video you did too, the base tour for the pagoda. I'm guessing. That's what it is. This is what we've been doing since that video. Been a long time. Been working on this stuff. Then this is all going to be housing all the way through and just random city stuff. And then we have like a bathhouse for all the hot tubs and greenery and stuff. This was a really fun build. Yeah. Pagoda is where it all started. Even that's changed too. Done a couple videos on that as well. Got the pot palace. A little garden thing. Tons of little passageways and stuff that go literally everywhere. The main tower. That one's a wizard's tower. And then this is where I like all my actual base. How many hours? That's a great question. Total in the game, according to Discord, is 2,800 hours. I would say, if that was accurate, that's probably a slight overestimation. I spent 600 or 700 days probably working on the pagoda, and then the rest has been spent on the sandcastle base and other just playing the game and stuff too. So at least 1,000 or 1,200 in-game days now in this. So many hours. What's up, Knife? How's it going, man? Many hours have been spent here. That's the typical reaction I would like to see. That's what I'm going for. That's how I know I'm doing my job right. So, get him. The sandcastle build has been really fun, so it just keeps spiraling. Every time I think I've finished, I just make something else that's super fun, and I just can't stop. I keep trying to play other games, Enshrouded, some other like fun building games, but I just keep getting pulled back to Grounded every time. Every single time. It's crazy. Have my interview tomorrow. Hopefully I can get that factory job. Don't worry, there will be a lot more in your near future. Well, good luck, man. I hope you get it. That'd be dope. It's always nice having a steady job just kind of like locked in. Definitely makes life more comfortable. Play a lot of 7 Days to Die. Yeah, that is not one I've played. Just Grounded for me these days. It's a problem.
Hello there. How can I help you? Huh.
Got the chipbergs.
Oh, I am feeling much more like now. What is it you were wanting to know? There are 4 now. Somehow I will mark the locations of these. Please find them. Oh, before you leave, check out the new recipes in the
There aren't any new recipes, Burgle. I bought them all. Every one of them. Dang it. I swear I collected some more stuff than that. Got hooked into modded Minecraft. I used to love Minecraft. And especially modded Minecraft. I had a lot of fun. I used to play Tekkit and Technic packs. So like adding technology and stuff. It was fun. I just don't have a huge desire to go back to Minecraft anymore. example of like combat system in Grounded I've always really liked. It's a little crazy in New Game Plus, but it's just addicting. This is the other pagoda base. Haven't seen the newest updated version of it. Still have to finish the top. Kind of tore it down and then never finished it. If you like the building in Grounded, then you would like the building in 7 days. Building and crafting in 7 days to die. What's up, Heather? Welcome in. Yeah. Horrible. Horrible. They're always bad. I haven't gotten a good trinket in ages. Literal ages. Hey. Thank you, Knife. Let's go. And Crazy got it. I think he's actually here, too. He said hello. He didn't say BRB this time. So I think he's here. That, too. That's a good use of this last 30 seconds. Built my base in the pagoda, so I've seen your videos and builds so many times. Hey, love it. That is definitely still my favorite place to build in the entire game. This base has been really fun, but that is the best place in the game for a base.
I want to eat that so badly. I don't even care if it makes me cry.
What's up, Zephyr? Wanted to see if things are crazy over here. Well, now that you gave Crazy the ability to use emotes, I mean, it's gonna get crazy at some point, I assume. I think lifting all of this has actually worked. I was messing with this. Doing pretty good myself. Long day, but can't complain too much. It actually worked. There's no more ant lions, guys. It's kind of a dumb thing to get excited about, but I don't think any ant lions spawn anywhere now. I still have to make this right, and I think this guy still attacks me. Yeah, that one still attacks me, so I may have to like raise that up more. But they're all spawning below now. This makes life so much easier. Let's go. I was worried I didn't actually fix that when I moved everything, so it was almost a waste. Would have been a waste. I think it'll work out for the build overall, but I didn't think I was using that time wisely. That's perfect. Let's go. Means it's a viable base that doesn't get destroyed randomly. I think this one can attack me too. That's just the like queen ones that throw the black ants at you. Oh, nice. This is great. Finally just an open city I can just run through. Perfect. I guess there are one up there and two down there, but that's not bad. I'll take it. Yeah, they damage them. But not enough to where it really matters. With the handy gnat, I just have to repair it. You just fly around and fix anything. Like, yeah, he damaged a little bit. But it's enough that it's like, it's easy enough to fix as well if it actually breaks it. Just finishing up New Game Plus 3, Molars, then going to hit New Game Plus 4. Any suggestions on which infused weapons to go for first and what attributes to try to get? There's two ways I would think about this. A lot of people just went like pure boss damage. So like overall, the club is hands down the best. There's just nothing else that's even close to it. Everything else just doesn't. The stun is amazing, and it just does the most damage overall. So I think it's the best. It's like I've been testing some other ones, and they're fun. So I think like if you like a specific build, you have the capability, although it's going to be a lot of re-rolling and in time invested to get the stuff you want, you can almost make any build work. It may not be the most like optimized build in the world, but you can make a lot of fun things so far is what I've noticed. Like even like staffs have some interesting stuff you can do, even though you can't get them infused. But I essentially just went for one. I also have this exact sword in a club. Jeez. Which I think is technically better. I just like this against the Broodmother. So I would fight the Broodmother as fast as possible. If she drops a club. What's up, Lude? I am a little early. I mean, I'm supposed to start between like 7 and 8. It's just usually closer to 8. So like anything like this. So you want, the way I thought of it, so I wanted all around. I wanted things that were going to be good everywhere in the yard, not just against like the Mantis and the Broodmother fights. If you're just like spamming through New Game Pluses, I was kind of like, I'm going to spend a lot of time sitting in New Game Plus, whatever. So I wanted the best weapons for like just random occasions. So I would go a specific damage type up best. And then either like Finale Fury, the damage up major of the same kind. Implant Weakness is not a bad one as well. This also increases the overall damage. It's like my Salt damage up best. Implant Weakness Salt may not be the absolute most damage possible, but it feels really strong. 8 for you, 11 for me. True. That is true. Very late. You can also go with like Lifesteal, crit damage up best. If you got Assault damage up best, like Boss damage or Mantis damage or Wasp damage, that makes those specific fights, since you have to do them, really good. But not necessarily absolutely necessary, in my opinion. I prefer just all around, and then like I get a trinket. Because it's a bit easier to just re-roll a bunch of trinkets. I had a ton of deduper jelly as well. But if you get like boss damage, salt damage up best, and then anything else, salt damage up major, implant weakness, salt, finale fury, lifesteal, damage resist, like all of those will be really good options on a single trinket of any kind. I don't even have like amazing trinkets, and I'm doing fine. Like my best trinkets are just like almost a really good trinket, but then it's like thirst rate. I think that's probably my best spicy trinket. Like everything's like 2, like there's barely any explosives in that fight. Or like fresh and boss and infected. This one's pretty decent, but most of them are, as long as you get a decent trinket with 2 things, like you'll be set. 4 a.m. Holy cow, man. That's very late. I can't even stay up that late anymore. Yeah, the trinkets are really good. That's why I went general with the infused weapons, because if you want, like, this probably took me 3 or 4 hours to re-roll. This probably took me 3 or probably more like 6. This one only took me 2 or 3. This one took me like 2 entire weeks to get any good sour club. It took weeks of time. The nice thing is if you're like rolling the club, since it's good in any of these, if you have better odds to roll a fresh one, a sour one, a salt one, or a spicy one, which I think is nice. Kind of increases your odds. So you may get a salt one first and then like fresh last or whatever, eventually, if you're just rolling for each damage type, which is, I think, the end goal that you should be going for, is one weapon with each damage type that's going to be the most effective. This one's just good against the Broodmother, is the only reason I tried rolling for it, and already had something. So I wanted a good infused greatsword just to test. There's an endless amount of options, though. Kind of crazy. Get some molars with a vid. How long are you planning on streaming for? I usually stream till like 10 or 10:30 Pacific time. So another 2 hours probably, if all goes well. Usually the goal. Buddha Rev, you get up at 4? Go to bed, man. I got on early just for you, you know? No, really, my son had his 18-month checkup today. And had to get 5 shots, so he was toast. He was ready for bed so early tonight. So I was able to get everything I needed to get done and then get on. You're going to break going to Remix 10 in no time? Oof, I'm not. I will definitely not be going to new game. I don't think I'm going any further than 6. I don't feel the need to make it more difficult. It's plenty difficult. And since I can reroll for a sizzle immunity Black Ox Hammer in this one, which is the last thing I want, I'm like set. After that, I don't need anything. I'm good to go. Sounds good, Zephyr. Why I generally don't catch your streams. Oh, I don't blame you. The Infused Club is great for the Broodmother. Yeah, I just liked the slashing aspect of it. I thought it was a fun... So close. That's probably the best. I've been looking for a Spicy Mage build. I've been trying to get a Spicy Mage Quick Charge Spicy Damage Up Best trinket for ages. If it had Quick Charge, you get, with Spicy Mage, you get like Rapid Fire if you don't get attacked. But you also, if you have Quick Charge, can like charge your attacks faster, so it'd be so good. But I've been unlucky so far. I really want a fresh damage up best, salt damage up best, sour damage up best, or spicy damage up best one. That'd be a fun little addition. This is really close to being good, though. I have a lifesteal one that's really fun to use. This is a really fun... If it had spicy damage up best, it'd probably be pretty good. What's up, Chaos? How's it going? Where did I put that? Like, Samurai is so worthless. Dang it. Even if that was lifesteal, it'd be really good. The spicy staff is really good with lifesteal. It's really fun with lifesteal, I'll say. It's not necessarily great, but it's fun. I didn't really look at these all that well, so I'm just making sure. None of them are good? Yeah. Yeah, I typically try to go to bed around 11, and then I don't. I go to bed at 12 pretty much every night. But I definitely couldn't make it to 4 a.m. I'm also like the only West Coast person. It's crazy. Crazy, y'all. How was no one else from the West Coast? Hardly at all. Sure. Not totally sure how I'm going to do all this yet, so we'll just see what happens. Why is there a half block in here? Get out of here. Go in there. Any word on the new Scarecrow? I think it's going to be added in the next update. They have not said when the next update is. So that I can't tell you. But we are getting that for sure is what it sounds like. I just heard that it was going to be implemented in 1.4.6, I think it is. I think that was what the number is, which is whatever's the next number. Say, yeah, 1.4.6. There's still updates to the game. I thought they were completely done. They are. Currently, they are doing mostly like bug fixes, different types of like game breaking stuff. And then I think they had, I think they mostly had the seasonal stuff. So the Scarecrow that we're talking about is part of the Halloween treat event or whatever, which they've had this pumpkin forever. All they did was add candy corn. So like big candy corn spawns now. Thought I had one down here maybe. And then they added a Scarecrow to playgrounds, and there was a bunch of people on the Discord that were like, just implement it. We want that. And so they're adding that as well. Not 100% sure if it was 100% supposed to be implemented or not, but they decided to. I don't have any candy corn. But where the food spawns, you can have like big candy corn spawn now. And then the Scarecrow is just a little Scarecrow with crow feathers, and then it drops crow feathers, kind of like the Christmas tree. Dropped candy corn and stuff. Not like incredibly cool stuff, but it's a nice way to get crow feather drops. They've needed something to increase that for a while, so that part's nice. Can't complain too much about that. But there's not any new like content necessarily of any kind being made. I'm pretty sure they had all of this seasonal stuff done, or at least mostly fleshed out already, since they kind of had the Christmas stuff. They're just adding a little bit to this. Previous update, they had the St. Patrick's Day stuff. So there's been a decent amount of, I think, this stuff that was already in the game. They're just fixing it right now, is what it sounds like. Any Europeans here? No, every once in a while. If I get that in creative, I've got just the place for it. You might already have it in creative. I'm not sure if it's in playgrounds and creative or one or the other, but the recipe is buildable. I've seen that, just not in survival. I'd be surprised if they added it to survival and they didn't add it to creative. But then again, you can't get telepatties, so just crazy. Got my first spicy staff today. Things game changing. It's like, it's not amazing, but it's really fun at what it does, if that makes sense. Like, I've always really enjoyed the staff builds. I was devastated when they nerfed the blocking for the staves. You used to be able to just block cancel at any time during a charge attack or an attack, like even right after. Like, you could just like spam it, and as long as you were good at perfect blocking, just like any of the other weapons, you could just block everything. But now there's a cooldown on the staffs, so like if you attack with the frost staff, you essentially can't block for a certain amount of time. East Coast? Maine. Interesting. This definitely wasn't exactly how I was going to do this, so I don't know why I just went for it. And just keep doing it. Yeah, believe me, no telepathies. Dice me up. Freaking wall. Dude, seriously. That is crazy to me that they did that. Not finishing your build? What do you mean? Which part? Like the house and stuff I've been working on? Or that? Or all the other little things that I haven't quite finished yet? This is almost ready to build. I just had an idea that I wanted to start working on that I was still trying to like picture how I'm doing all of this housing and stuff. Not quite fully fleshed out in my brain, so I don't want to go crazy and then have to redo it all. Whereas this is an idea that I think I have a better plan for. I am solo, yep. It's just me. All alone, there's no one here beside me. I'm Googling on New Game Plus, stumbled upon a couple of Reddit posts mentioning how difficulty is unbalanced. They done some balancing. They have, for sure. The last patch. So I think there's two sides to that. I will start with what they've done, and then I'll get into the more specifics of why the people that were complaining on Reddit need to just get good. There's some different things that I don't think are just the balancing that were a problem. They decreased the damage dealt by 33% or something like that. For all the infused bugs. So the you can still get one shot, but it happens less. Then the black ant also, if you have that as a pet, currently gives 10%, which was a mistake on their part. They didn't, well, they made it 50%, and then on accident, and then they went to fix it, and they pissed everyone off, essentially. So they're changing it back to 50% now because everyone really liked it. What I would say about the difficulty is that most people just rushed into it way too fast, and instead of like doing kind of what you were supposed to do, which the only thing that I think can be complained about really is that it's grind heavy. There's a lot of RNG like re-rolling for things, which I think takes away from the experience for most players. So I think that's where that frustration comes from. But if you're willing to actually like re-roll for trinkets and like grind for upgrades and not just instantly rush through it like it's meant to be beaten in a couple days, I don't feel like it's anywhere near as difficult as most people would say it is. As someone with hundreds of hours in it now. I think it's much more manageable than most people make it out to be. This is going to need to go up one more. Or else it's not going to quite work. Which the grind can be frustrating at times, for sure. RNG can be not a whole lot of fun at times. exactly are you building in that wall? Windows. Do you not see the vision, Ludorav? I like slit windows for like arrows, archers. And I'm kind of like getting ahead of myself and just starting on it to see what happens. So yeah, there'll be windows along the wall. Technically, an archer could stand here and like fire out of this to defend the armory. Found one candy corn and no idea where the pumpkin is. I'm all over the yard every day, including the porch. It is not currently spawning in chaos. So there's a glitch with older saves that were made before, I think it's 1.4.4, it might be 1.4.5 or both, whatever. New saves since then will have the pumpkin. Older saves will not. They're fixing it in the next patch. It does spawn right on the edge of this side of the porch, just like in this corner. Makes sense. You can do it with crossbows too, but it doesn't do it for damage. The post just spooked me a little because I'm nearing the end of my first playthrough. I'm glad to hear you take on it though. Definitely a bit relieving. Yeah. I think a lot of people just like rushed their judgments, where I think the way I'd put it is that, so that's where the pumpkin is, just so you know, it just sits right there. I think that a lot of people were really dying for new content, and so they heard New Game Plus. It wasn't new content, but there's new content-esque things. There's new ways to play the game. There's difficulty changes. There's new interesting things that have happened. And so people just rushed through it, and then since you've already beaten this game once, essentially, by the time you're in New Game Plus, you know where most things are. You've just done it, so it like speeds up the amount of time that it takes to do each thing. And so people were just like, New Game Plus, New Game Plus, New Game Plus, and just rolling through them instead of what Obsidian's goal was, which was to get you to like exponentially play the game longer, not just like rush through it. And so if you bulldoze your way through it, it is extremely difficult. Even on mild, I get absolutely destroyed at times, like absolutely destroyed. But it's not as difficult as people make it seem, but it's because they added way too much grind to get really good stuff, which was a way to artificially extend the playtime, which is a good and bad thing. I enjoy a bit of RNG, like I enjoy Diablo and stuff, so like I have a bit of fun with it, just like a repetitive process, but I don't think everyone does, and so I think there's a lot of people that were a little frustrated in how much you had to grind. Which is rightfully so-ish. Thought you doing light post slots? Yeah. No, this is the idea. We'll see how it all turns. Wait, that was actually right. I just had an idea yesterday for this sort of barracks building thing. I was like, oh, let's do it. Let's see what happens. I found a random image that just had like walls like this, and I was like, actually, that would be a cool little wall detail to do. This could be fun. I'm still figuring out how to design out little houses, so that also is a determining factor of why I'm procrastinating, essentially. I want to do the housing justice, you know? And this seems like an easier build right now. I also think building over here a bit is going to help me sort of wrap my head around of how I want to design this area that I haven't filled in yet. I definitely liked your light posts. I just wasn't sure how to make them fit the look that I'm going for. They're a little too big for what I want to do. They're better for like more of a village, which I feel like yours is more of a like town or village. In this, I want to be like densely packed, very densely packed housing, which is a really ambitious idea to do because I haven't really seen anyone do it. I've seen some really cool, I think it was like Milkman did a creative build, but they're like some housing and more like massive castles. I don't even know what to call it. It's like a castle city where it's almost one big castle. It's more like Minas Tirith, where like the city is all built into it. It's not necessarily one like separate things, whereas like this is sort of all kind of separate. So really tight packed and stuff. Very weird. Thank you, Paperclip. Glad you like it. But yeah, we're still figuring out what the heck we're doing. It's an ambitious project to get all this done for sure. Guess I need to make this like a floor. Right? Yeah, the village vibe. Yeah, it's just a little, slightly, it's not a small scale by any means, but you have a little bit more space, or the idea of space between them. There's still a decent amount of them. What am I working on now? It is, let's see, let me pull this up. So it's a city barracks is the idea. So sort of a armory, like where the police sort of idea, if you've ever watched like Game of Thrones and stuff. The city watch like defends the city, but also keeps the peace. So sort of police or whatever as well. This would be where they keep their stuff. Weapons, armor, all that kind of stuff. And that image is just sort of it's not the big wall, it was just the little tiny square in the middle of that whole big thing. So it's just kind of like a rectangle with like an open area in the middle for like training, sparring, that kind of stuff, and then some just randomness that I'm gonna come up with as we go. For the rest of it, I don't have like a major plan currently. We're just seeing how it goes. Seeing where things take us right now. I just had an idea for this wall and then was like, okay, let's see what happens. Typically how my ideas start to come together. Just random thoughts, or I see a cool picture like that. Is essentially I was looking at that picture for a different project, and that's what kind of inspired that. I feel like now you got to add the armor dummies since you got the city watch, dude. I know. The issue is that my game is breaking, Ludorav. It's dying. Sadly, it is. I think I've made a lot of room, honestly. Like, I think I've made enough room. Also, if I'm willing to start deleting all these lighting things that I've done, If I deleted all the lighting, I think I'd have tons of space to build. So worst comes to it, we'll just delete all of this stuff, which I love. I'll just get some video of it and then I'll delete it. I'll just get fly arounds like this, which I have a decent amount of, honestly, at this point. But I'll delete a bunch of this lighting because I do that stupid thing like everywhere on like so many different things. They're like, you can never even see those, and they're there. I mean, this stuff has an insane amount of lighting. I like it on the interiors, but I'd probably take out most of the exterior lighting. And that would probably fix most of it. And then, if I get through all of the building, then I'll start adding dummies. Then I want to. So if we get to that point, it's going to happen. Like, those will be the last things, though, because we have to finish everything else for it to matter. One second. Gotta give my wife the baby monitor. Oh, I know, Lude. The goal, though, that is 100% the goal, though. I'm going to be a bit sad if I don't get to go quite that far. Definitely a bit sad. Because I feel like there's a lot of life in the build already as I'm like really filling things in, but it won't feel complete till there's some armor dummies at least. It just makes the like inside feel better. This is where this sucks, actually. Well, could do that. Who needs a half stair when you can just... That. It needs to be there. Yeah. Good enough for me. Can't always reach perfection, you know? That's how this walkway has to be made. That's how it has to be made. Don't need that, though. I think this is going to be a nice, like, use of space. Feels like there's, like, there needs to be, like, some buildings of decent size in this area. I kind of want to put another image I've been looking at. There's sort of a big building. I had built the cathedral off of a specific type of building, recreated it, and then went my own way. But there's another big building sort of right here with lots of little buildings around it. So I think that'd be kind of cool. Next to the city watch area with some more little housing just going down. And then maybe one building with sort of like a taller tower somewhere in here or like over here maybe. And then the rest just kind of like small or individual houses. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Really, that wasn't right. It's all a test. See what happens. Two? No, that needs to be 1 over 1. Yeah. An idiot. Whatever. Do that. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. That gets moved over. You get moved over. There you go. Keep this patterning, you know. That's a little weird. Does it got one more? Oh, that's why it looked good there, because there was still mushroom underneath it. That's kind of weird. This could be an entrance, though, I guess, like somewhere here. I could move this stuff down as well. He can go anywhere. Stairs, maybe? That's not a horrible idea. Gotta have some ways to get out, right? Might have to make this all one taller here. Yeah, because I did. That's what we did wrong. This wants to be like this. Secret passage? Secret tunnel. Wait, secret tunnel where? I have one here. This will be inside of it, I think. That just goes down here. It'll probably get smaller too. Or you're just saying this is a secret tunnel to get out. Or a secret tunnel down here. Could make something in here as well. A little basement of some kind. Technically that wants to be like that then. Like that. An up one. Yes. Can't waste any blocks, you know. Maybe you could use that opening as a secret passage. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, you're the secret passage expert. That's... There you go. What is wrong here? I do need to do that. Darn it. Know how I am the secret passage. With secret passages, I envy your secret passageness. I got some secret passages, but they aren't anywhere near your passages. All I got is like this little one. I don't even know if you can call this a secret passage. It's just kind of a secret passage. There's a lot of random little stuff like this, but they're not as intricate and crazy as yours. More? Holy cow. Maybe if I delete all this rant, like make little secret passages, I can delete more stuff. I have like passages, but not as many secret ones. Yours are on a different level of secret and sneaky. Mine are more just like pathways that go in interesting little places around things. To points of interest, at least. But there will be a decent network of... If I have the space for it, which we'll see. this will all go down into like a secret area too. Who's breaking my... I think I'm gonna have to delete this second layer at some point, because I don't think it does anything. He still attacks me. And he's just slowly destroying this most of the time. And somehow it still damages the upper portion as well. That's kind of a waste. Another little spot I'll be able to clean up to get some blocks back eventually. That's pretty much what I spend my time off stream doing, is just deleting things I don't need. Like, I'll probably have to go through and delete individual ones of these, and but I have to get this all like tied down properly so I don't delete things, because there's a bunch of things that are supporting like hundreds, yeah, like hundreds of pieces that would all break if I touch it. So I try to avoid that area for now. I think I can do this, actually. Oh, yes. This is Luderav right here. Killing it. Could also make this, like, double-sided. Double. Could also just do that. It's fine. Look at safety. Look at this safety system I've built here. Nobody would fall to their death in my castles. They're all gonna live happy, safe lives. Look at this. Genius. The designer of the people. Walk on your little walkway. Little gangplank. Those. I'm thinking, although it'd be cool to cover these, it's kind of cooler to do some lighting in them. Because you know what my world wants more of? Lighting. Every new light, it's like, why? Why do you hate us? The computer's memory is just slowly dying. Started using the quarter triangle stems as railings to sit on top of the quarter triangle mushroom walls. Oh, that makes perfectly normal sense. Why have I never done that, Lukev? Why do you do this to me? Why, after hundreds and hundreds of railings, have you just now mentioned this? I look with those last two quarter looks you built on bottoms, not on top. I'll have to look at it in a sec. Can't believe you, Lurev. Hey, you know, when you're good, you're good. Chaos. When you're good, you're good. Just a mind reader, you know. I mean, it does look pretty good, Luderav. Why you gotta do this to me? Not that I'm necessarily gonna do it right here, but it does pretty much look exactly like, or as close to it as you can, and then you don't have to use these stupid things. I hate these. With a passion. They just never do it. They're too jank. I use them in some places, but I'm not a huge fan. They have their place, but it's not great. It's like, honestly, this would probably look just as good as just like this. Probably looks better like this. Because Luderav came up with the idea. Who's got to be so good at everything? It's tempting. I don't know if I care enough to use blocks on it at this moment in time. Yeah, the stem looks better, honestly. I just don't ever really use the stem, so I never really think about it, but... Like, yeah, it's not perfect, but... That is as close as you could get to, like, a banister railing.
Having a little peek.
That isn't these little... I like the size of these. That is fine. It's the rest of it I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, doesn't that look great? And then it would give... So, like, when you got your person standing right here, like, firing arrows, like, choo 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 choo. The person that's getting shot at out here, they have this perfect lighting where, like, you know, when you shine a flashlight, like, up under your chin and your eyes, it makes you look super evil. So these guys are going to be shooting their arrows out here, just looking menacing as hell. I'd be horrified. Especially for the guy who can't count and put this in the wrong spot. Can't believe someone would even do that. What an idiot. Like, who gave this guy a building license? Give anyone one of them today. Left a big hole too. Lazy. Don't even need to fill in those gaps, honestly. They just can't fit through the rampart paths either. I mean, it's a little skinny. It looks, it's a good size. Look. You're just looking at it from the handy nap perspective, which makes everything seem smaller. But once you get down here with a teen, and then once the person building this puts a set of stairs so you can actually get up there, that's going to be an important part. Look at this room. Look how much room you got up here. It's perfect. Look at this. That's all the room you could ever ask for. I mean, like, if you're getting shot at, you're gonna have to strafe. Like, you definitely can't move like forward and backwards like that. You'll just go head over heels, boom, straight down to there. But if you just shuffle, slide to the left, slide to the right, 2 hops this time. You just do a little cha-cha slide. You're set. You don't even have to worry about it. And I think that's a glorious system. I think it's going to work great. Because, I mean, like, honestly, like, there's more of the city watch. Like, they're never, no one's ever getting into there, you know? Like, unless someone tells the enemy that if you went through the black ant hole all the way underneath, like, it's like a Death Star. It's like a Death Star design here. If you went all the way into the garbage heap, which who's going to go in the garbage heap? Down the black ant hole, up the black ant hole, conveniently directly into the set of stairs that I've made out of the black ant hole, you could slowly funnel an entire army into the middle of the city. That is a slight flaw. But We'll never have to worry about that, guys. Never. I also have built a massive set of stairs directly to the upper wall of this city, but don't worry about that either. They'll never find this. Never. It's defended by crab claws. So, like, when they go up the stairs here, he's like, chomp, chomp, and he just gets them. Gotta go. Have a good rest of the stream. Thank you, Knife. Have a great rest of your night, man. Triangles of mushrooms definitely looks great. I've got those on my B base too, since finished base. Oh, that's just building bases, really. It takes forever. They're never done. Every single base you see here, in some way, shape, or form, has something I haven't quite finished. I need to put more subscribers' names in here. I need to finish this detail along all of these. That, I never finished the top. This, I have to put the rest of the flooring and build all the great hall, like chairs and tables and stuff. This might actually be done, honestly. This is pretty much done. Although I wanted to rebuild the throne room because it's not very good. This is done. That's done. That is done, but there's supposed to be an entire basement under it, so it's not done. And this looks done until you look up and realize that I was trying to make like books, and I stopped 2 through because I didn't feel like continuing. So this has a lot of stuff to do too. It's never completed though. I'd go into the garbage heap. I have a build over there. I know you have a big build right here. But like, who's gonna go down into the black ant hole? It's like the Battle of Helm's Deep. Like, they'll bring a bomb and then just blow a hole through this and it just destroy the whole city from the inside. It's all for naught. We're screwed. I'm gonna have to think of how to shore up those defenses. Security troll. It's the only option. Wait, Vey. Probably could build this more efficiently, but got to move the light to that window side. Light? Where? In here? Don't you tell me I'm doing everything wrong, alright? Don't you be right. That was a light I was saving for this next one. Duh. I just hadn't built this one yet, alright? Leave me alone, gosh! What are you supporting? Nothing. You're doing nothing. Who put this light right where I'm working? Remind me to Firebirdle. He keeps messing with everything. Did finish my little library. I'll have to send pictures. Good. I can't wait to see it. That sounds actually really cool. Especially since my library didn't really end up looking quite like a library. Not saying it's bad, but not sure I would call it a library, you know? It's something. It's library-esque. Library adjacent. Not that a library is necessarily the easiest thing in the world to build in this game. Definitely an interesting one. I'm sure yours looks more like a library, though. Look at me. Reduce, reuse, recycle, guys. Dang autosaves, man. What's up, Backwoods? No worries, Ludorav. You're always welcome to mess with me. I'm a streamer. That's like half the job, isn't it? People heckle me about random stuff. Going good. It's going good, Backwoods. Just building like always. Okay, what? Go in your home. Night, Lude. I did it right. Woo. What are we doing? We're building a like city barracks. The current idea. So it'll be sort of like a military compound is the best way I could describe it. Like it'll have a little armory where the like city watch would be on a regular basis. So it's just kind of, I'm just starting with some outer perimeter walls, and then I'm just gonna start adding some like bases and stuff. Little tiny buildings on the inside and spaces. We'll just see what happens. Might build some towers. I should stop here because I think I want to build some kind of tower off this corner. Not a huge plan currently for what we're doing. We're just kind of doing it, seeing how it goes. One out. That's here, maybe? Yeah. Make this even. Guess what? What'd I miss? What'd you catch me screwing up this time? Or just that I was saying this needs to be one piece further. Caught it before I did. Could be interesting. Be one taller. This. interesting shape. Might be kind of cool. So be some of these. Might just end up being square. Who knows? The world may never know. Autosaves keep trying to lag me out. Could also be like a tower to like have quick access getting down to this corner or something. Who knows? Kind of want some like random stuff like that. Like I'm thinking this, the reference image I'm looking at sort of has like some towers at the corner, just like a smaller sort of standard castle, and then some like slightly larger buildings and like a couple towers on like one edge. So I'm like, that kind of has 4 corner towers, but then a couple bigger towers on the inside. So like some living quarters and stuff. I'm kind of thinking, instead of building this wall out, this might come out as like an actual part of the base here. Since this is pretty worthless space with it being so sloped, I can't really put any of the the garden patches like I did here in. Because they're decent here, but I think I'm going to build this out and this can be like the living quarters portion. And then I can build a cooler sort of exterior looking space here. Some stairs maybe, who knows. Sort of the thought, but I'm not totally sure how that's going to work yet. So I need to have, I think that's what I want this space to be. I think it's wasted space otherwise. I thought about putting some like houses here, but I don't know if I really want to. I think this makes more sense. Gives me more space to make this a better base overall. But it could change. That's just my original thought. It's definitely a unique shape for a tower. I don't hate it. See how it functions. Of course, this doesn't want to. But what we got these for? That part's nice. The interesting question's gonna be, how does it fill the flooring? Shouldn't be bad. Actually, that could do this well. We can't do an angled piece there, so I'm gonna have to think of how we do that. Yes. This could work. And maybe that's the entrance. Or even just go this way. Was a reply from a while ago? No worries. I had a feeling it was. I was answering a lot of random questions there. All at the same time somehow. Definitely started talking over my own ideas as I was thinking through them when I saw other questions. Eight. Could that that then this. Get out of here. Then this. Get the woodwork. Get in there. No, you want to. Oh, dang it. Being stubborn. Oh, wait a second. We just do that. It's mostly hidden. Guess that becomes it. That one. So we do something. So close, but so far, you know? Guess this could be that. It's a cool little lighting thing I could do, and then it's just one of those. And if you fall to your death, it's really your own fault here. Like, get good. Tower looks great. I think with a little quick access to the lower courtyard, it'd be even more practical. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Trying to... Now I gotta figure out what to do here. Like a little drop. You'd only really go down. You couldn't really go up, but... Could just be like a drop down, since in grounded that works. And then it's like safe. Because then you're not like... There's no way to get into it, but it's quick access to get out of it. Yeah, justification. I think it makes sense. It's a little weird with this, but I'll figure it out. Be like a ping pong one. You hit here and then it slides your booty out. Wait. Oh, good. It's like, oh no, I can't delete it. Oh, that wasn't that plan. Oops. Broke down my shitty wall. Could be something like that. Just a way to get down real quick. Except this would probably be like crow feathers or something. Kind of makes sense. I don't hate it. And we'll see how it goes from there. But that's a good start. It's just a tower, honestly. So see where it goes from here. Could do a set of stairs or something in here. Well, but like the outline of the Superman symbol. That's true. Yeah, when you look at it this way. Or a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Oh, Riri. Hey, who made it dark in here again? Over this. What do I get for churning out my day and night cycles? To collect materials faster. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get people up to this as well. that is going to be important, I think. Seems like a useful part of the base, you know. I'm gonna do it, right? Like, what's the point of having this whole thing if there's no ability to walk around it? You feel me? Could one more. Light well. Things, or that could be where the entrance starts to get to here, and maybe I just need to build. I like some gap here, so maybe it starts like that. And then who knows? You build it, they will come, you know? Not sure what the idea of shape here is, but we'll just see what happens. Easy enough to just add and take away blueprints. I mess with it. Because then punch my mic stand. Then I could technically like make some adjustments here, or even add in some stuff like this to potentially add in a garden patch or two, just to like make some of these details more interesting. That'd be really sideways, but either way, you could always just raise this up higher, make it flat, just like move it up one single block. And that's probably enough to let me, yeah. That's probably a good little detail. No, you want to. Rude. I'm sure once I build those, it'll be fine, but how rude. That off. The heck, guys. Alright, that'll do it. Stop messing with it. Not bad having one space in between, and this isn't too bad because then I don't have to. Still easy enough to cover this. Alright, apparently we're gonna go to sleep. Ladder in there too. A ladder would work. Grunts just climb their ladder. You don't get stairs. I mean, ideally, I'd find a way to make it like a bounce elevator. Which in theory, I probably could just go like up. I mean, let's be honest. Why wouldn't we just get out of here? Do a little bada bing. Bada bing. Bada boom. This is your down. Full size. You hit that, you go down. You take this. bounce. Go in your home. Yep, that makes. Close. Aha. And then that just bounces you up and you land on there. Duh. What else would it be? Could raise it up. And we can make it look prettier as we go. But something like that's probably the most functional. Can these roof pieces work? The roof higher or lower? This goes. New player here. How do I get the builder gnat? There's two ways that you can get the handy gnat. It is a custom game option, so you can turn it on. If you change your game to custom, you lose access to achievements, but you can turn it on at the beginning, or you can get to New Game Plus, which is the ability to restart the game and remix it. So it changes and adds some new fun mechanics and stuff. As soon as you get to New Game Plus 1, so you've beaten the game all the way through, on normal, you remix it, it's automatically unlocked then. So it just kind of depends on how you want to play the game. Let's do it. Space away. Thought it was gonna get weird. This, then I can just do that. Or logic was the answer. But handy net's like my favorite thing. So if you don't care about achievements, send it. Just go get the handy net. Worth it. Makes the game amazing. Sure. This could probably move up one as well. To the part where I have to fight Schmechter and defend the Jobmatic power lines. Is there much past that to beat the game? I want to start doing bigger builds, but I'm very limited at the moment. You're pretty close. The Java-matic is essentially the end of the game. There is stuff you could potentially still unlock and do past that, depending on what you've already done. It's a bit hard to say. But Schmechter is essentially the last thing in the game that I would say is like worthy of being new, like something you need to do. You don't really need to do Schmecter, but you do Schmecter and that, you're pretty much done. Bounce is even better, right? It works pretty well, right? I think so. Might be one up, and then you have to like jump on it. Effective. That's what we're shooting for. This would be better if it was this. That should work actually pretty well. Alright, so we get some like plants in there. I'll add some windows. I figure out where I want those. It'd be almost like it's a building that's separate, but it's the same. I think I might want to raise this higher than this wall, though. I'm going to build it like this. I think so. Just past that. 3 bosses, not the infected brute. Then that unlocks door to new. From my understanding, yeah. All you need for New Game Plus is the Java-matic, Wasp Queen, Brood Mother. Fight's done. Mantis. Fight as well. Mantis, Wasp Queen, Brood Mother, and then a Java-matic defense. So, the only thing I would warn about is that New Game Plus does make the game much more difficult. So if you're like hunting gold cards or anything like that, it can be more difficult because the enemies are harder to kill in New Game Plus. You do have to be a bit weary of that. So if you're not an achievement hunter and that's not something you care about, I always would slightly recommend just going to a custom game. That's what I did. I love having achievements and stuff, but you can always get them on a different playthrough as well, or get on someone's shared world that has the last achievements that you like need. Dang it. There you go. It's a little cheaty, but like for me, I got all the achievements and then went and then they added more. So I'm like, life. The handy nat is worth losing out on achievements, I think. I definitely enjoy it. It adds a lot of fun mechanics to the game. And keeps it really interesting. It's made it really, really fun to like continually play the game. Like I've beaten it 6 times now. And I'm still having a blast every time. Especially if you're going to build. I think it's really fun. For people that are going to build and like want to build big, large bases and stuff, like it is very fun. You get to keep everything. Then the platform above that roof over the ridge of the roof, so your archers have more height. That might work too. Extend the roof over the ridge of the roof. What? What you talking about, Willis? About the Brood Mother, which was surprisingly Black Widows. I need to fight the other bosses and as I'm for 100% completion, but I want to build castles. Yeah. I think one you can do, so like get all the milk molars, get all the scabs, get all the creature cards and stuff. You don't need gold cards. for 100%. Get all the data, get all of that stuff. The only hard things are like the ant queens. Technically, depends on how you deal with the ant queens, but you need the baby ants to get 100% because they're part of the creature cards. But you don't necessarily need to get 100% before you go to New Game Plus. You can keep getting 100% while going to New Game Plus. So if you just want to build cool castles, like, it's not... It makes it more difficult if you're going to go full survival. But it also, I think, is really fun for building castles and stuff. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's fun getting to, like, continually build while redoing the story and adding in new aspects. Keeps it really interesting. But kind of keeps me... There were times where I got burnt out on building for a while because I was just... All I was doing was building, and there was nothing else to do. And I like throwing in some of the story and survival aspects of the game as well at times. Right there with you. Gotta find one more recipe and beat the boss, then I'll be building so much, yeah. But it's fun to be able to do both. Do the ant queens as friends, about to get the fire ant queen, just gotta stock up on toenails. Their respawn timer is super long, yeah. That it is. That it is. Many of the things. That's why I'm now in custom, so I can... And my builds got so big that I turned faction raids off, so I no longer get raided. And then, of course, the handy net's turned on, even though I already have that unlocked for being in New Game Plus. And then I turned the resource respawn rate up to 5, so essentially, like, toenails, lint, and charcoal, ash charcoal, spawn every day instead of every 5 days, and then I turned off raids because at this point I have no interest in fighting raids off of these things. Don't need that in my life. So if your only goal is building, it's definitely not a horrible idea to go to custom events once you get like achievements and stuff you want. But it's all sort of personal opinion and how you want to play the game. That's the great part about it. Alright, we're going to have to do a lot to make this side of this big freaking massive honker of a building to look more interesting. Build like extra little tower or something. Toenails seem to spawn back pretty quick for me. The only issue is the few spots. Yeah, there's not many. Off the pipe by Wendell Scab on the deck. Yeah. I haven't built one up there, but I just... you can run and do the parkour really fast with all the quickness stuff I've got. Because I have aphid slippers. I'm usually using a trinket with the quickness. I have an infused axe with the quickness. And then with Natural Explorer, you can literally... parkour. You can just run up the bat, jump on the little thing here, jump up onto the hammer, and jump across, and just do that over and over. And you can also just dupe stuff now as well. So if you really need stuff, you can also just dupe it later on, which is a great mechanic that they added. The super duper. I don't remember when you get the super duper. That was a long time ago. I feel like I got that ages ago. Said that your ridge line was lower. Oh, well, there you go. Guess there must be a slight bit of a delay. I also am just changing this really quickly as I'm talking. Just have to find the way to make this look a little more interesting on the outside, but I think some windows, figure out how I'm gonna like do this inside bit. Gotta think about it a little more. We'll see. Gotta keep building and stuff as I go. Alright, if anyone's played Don't Starve, like these robotic chess pieces, one of them's a robotic horse, and it kind of looks like this little thing. Like if the eyes are here, and it's got this weird little pointed nose and goofy mouth, and then looks like a castle from chess. Alright, the question is, where does this end? Here? Yes, chair. You have a base in the upper yard, and I have to do a circle to gather resources. It takes basically the whole day. I put a zip line on the hammer on Wendell's table to help Mills. Yeah. I definitely have my, like, cycles of collecting that I do. That's the bummer part of doing. Maybe one more. Or we turn it on the inside and move this one. Technically, I think I like. And I don't need that. And we can go like that. In the corner, you can kind of get away with this. Just using the... Yeah. Charcoal's my... If you haven't noticed, I use a lot of charcoal. A lot of charcoal. Literally everywhere in my builds. Everywhere. And this isn't even the most egregious one. This one uses way more. It's everywhere in this build. It's in these. Every single one of these is a quarter ash wall. There's ash walls on the outside. There's ash walls in here. There's ash walls in the ceiling. I used ash walls as mortar to cover in these. So every single one of these has like 6 pieces of it in it. All the way around the whole thing. Along with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 18 per column. And then the multiple up in these fascia board things. There's stuff back here. Used it all here. Thank you, Russell. Glad you like it. That's what we do. I'm going to start working on a YouTube video as I start to finish up the housing areas. I think I might do an updated base tour, kind of where this is currently at, showing off all these bigger builds. Because there's still a lot of people that haven't necessarily, unless you watch all of the streams that I do, that have like seen like the interiors of these bases. Like you are a newer person, so like all this stuff is built live on my live streams, but you'd have to go back and watch each one to kind of see the whole things being built. They definitely are crazy. And there's a lot of intricate details that you don't really notice when I'm just flying around them like crazy. Very easy to miss the crazy details. Yeah, this is just a cathedral that I had fun with. The temple thing is for people who subscribe to the channel. They get their name on a chest in there. This is one of the more recent builds as well. Just sort of the workshop space. And then the library, which is all the chests. There's one chest for every single like resource item in the game. And then all the armors and stuff. As if they were a toy collection. Then just lots of random details and stuff. Combination of ash and mushroom, literally my favorite thing in this game. I'd like to add in like wood and stuff in other places, but I really like the ash cement and mushroom work. Just good every time. Trying to figure out a decent style with grass and stem spurs. It's more difficult. I think the best part about using mushroom is that the textures blend together. So like you can really get away with like building things like this, because this looks like one thing. But when you're using ash cement, it's like quite obviously many pieces. So it's a lot harder to work, and that's where stem is the same way, where like each piece is kind of its own thing. You really have to think about the way you work with them, like more. I use them more sporadically, at least. There's situations where like stacking them still looks good, but overall they tend to look better. Like the mushroom is easier to work with, and then everything else becomes like details, highlights of certain things. It's just the fact that everything's broken up like that makes them a little bit harder to use overall. And that's why it's like, especially I think, like doing that versus this just is always going to look better because these textures fit together so much better. In the video of my toenail zipline to the Discord tomorrow. Before New Game Plus, I'm not that quick. The ziplines save a ton of time. Dude, I had so many ziplines. My pagoda base, the top of it, was literally like 40 ziplines. It just had ziplines everywhere. I had them to the table, to the barbecue, to the Brawny Boy bin. I had them to the wood pile. I had them up here. I had stuff going from here to the pagoda. I have stuff going to the upper yard, the hedge. I had it everywhere. And now I just teleport there. Best addition ever. It's like one of the main reasons to go to New Game Plus, specifically. Although you have to get to New Game Plus 2, it is like one of the best things ever added to the game. Just so good. The nice thing about having a long way to go is you have lots to do. There's nothing worse than like getting to the end of a project and being like, now what? Have a little bit of that existential crisis. What the heck do I do now? I was having so much fun. I have nothing to build. I mean, this has... Although it looks like I built a ton, there's still so much space to fill up. Like, every single inch... This stuff's all going to be roughly, but I want to build little, like, stuff and more details in these areas along that whole thing. But we got to build houses all the way through here, like a central plaza thing or something. Houses through here, through there. Around all of this gets filled, all of this. We have a long ways to go still. It's a lot of building. This stuff's got to be changed into stuff. I'm going to cover that thing up, make it into some building. The clear divide, yeah, with the textures of grass and stems. Loves your support beams, though. I feel like an industrial build would be sick with that. There's a lot of I had a lot of fun with this random. This build was really fun, honestly. The idea originally was I was going to make like floating, like in Harry Potter, the like stairs change and move, and I wanted to create just this like sporadic staircase because I was like, oh, I'm going to build this library, and this whole thing is going to be filled with chests to the very top. And then I realized that this is more chests than every single like resource item in the game. Like I have every single one has its own chest, and there's multiple chests of like brick and stuff that I use a lot of. But then I quickly changed my designs, and I was like, there's no reason to get to the top. So instead of building stairs, I did these like snaking support things. Who knows? Whole Sandrock City? Yeah, that's the goal. We'll fill every inch of it all the way. So currently, that's sort of what I'm doing, is the fill of everything. Iron Man's, right? I really like that little display of all the armor. I think it's really cool. That was a fun one. So like, I'm gonna make, like, I have a list of all the different, like a stables and a blacksmith, an apothecary, an inn, a pub, a butcher, an armory, like a shooting range, a tailor. I'm building the barracks right now, and so I'm gonna build all these different buildings, essentially with different uses for like the things. So like this is sort of like a smith or something like that, and then there'll be buildings for each one of those things and shops and stuff. And this is sort of like the sporadic alleyways, like a tight city is sort of the idea behind it. So like there'll be little alleyways and stuff through everything. Maybe stuff like, maybe some of these buildings will get spread out a little or have space. Some of them will be big and tall. Some of them won't be, who knows. But we'll fill every single inch of this thing. And I ain't stopping until I fill the whole sandbox or until I break the build limit and we run out of space. Which I was getting close to. My game started crashing a bunch. So I've sort of fixed that by deleting a bunch of other random stuff I was building in the world. Cleared more space to allow us to keep building here. And if it comes to it, I'm going to have to start deleting some of the exterior lighting that I have on builds. That's just overkill at this point. Like, each one of these fins has 100 lights or something along this center pole, lighting stuff up, and there's lights all over the outside here. There's a lot of stuff we could get rid of and slowly delete. That's unfortunate. It's only good for like flying around and seeing it for my YouTube videos, but like you have to get all the way up here to see any of this lighting. Comes sort of redundant. So it's good for fly arounds, but most of this detail you never see, so I can start getting rid of some of it. Like, all this lighting is really overkill once I have a good video of it. Getting a Greek Pantheon vibe. That was like the main inspiration for this build. Sort of a temple for subscribers and members channel. And what better than the Pantheon? It was the perfect place to start. Can't wait for teleporting. It literally is the best. It's so nice. It is incredibly expensive. 100,000 raw science for 2 teleporters. But man, you get to a certain point in New Game Plus and you just have literally endless amounts of raw science. I have like 1.5 million or something right now. I could buy another 15, 20 something different teleporters, sets of teleporters. It would be another 30 or something. And I could go everywhere. I have noticed that if you build this amount of stuff and you teleport, it can crash your game with the game trying to load all of this stuff in. Who would have guessed? No, not 100K. Not 100K. 3K. Look at that. I got 1.56 million. Come on, man. Catch up. One, you got to do all the burgle quests. So complete all of these and you'll get a ton. There's 100 of them. And then there's daily ones that you can get 500, 300. This stuff becomes really easy as you get further to get all these daily ones. And then on top of that, you get 3,000 raw science per infused enemy. So if I were to find an infused bug, who knows if I can or not. Haven't killed this. Ah, there's one. Go ahead. Ow. Hurry, kill it. Die. 3,000 raw science. So every time you kill one of those bugs, you get raw science. So you just get massive amounts of it.
Hey, buddy.
New Game Plus gives tons more, yeah. The waft emitter grinding, I have mixed feelings about. Because I don't like doing it. There's also 1,500 raw science that spawns all over the map as well in each New Game Plus. So you're constantly collecting more as you play. Wait, why are you up here now? You weren't up here earlier? Why do these guys keep doing this? No way they just spawned that. I would have sworn that those guys weren't spawning here. They didn't, and then they just popped up out of nowhere. So random. Quick question, I'm trying to build in the pagoda like you did, but I have problems with the mud/pebble path outside the corner. Connect. One sec, let me think about it. Put this stuff away. Let's look at it. Okay. Can't wait to watch this build grow and feel inspiration for my own future builds. Much smaller scale, but you've already given me so many ideas. That's the whole point. All of what I'm doing is help like give other people ideas and stuff. That's why I like live streaming it and answering questions, helping other people build it. How long has this man played? I have 2,800 hours. Yeah, 2,800 hours according to Steam. That's maybe a little artificially inflated, but... Alright. Problems with the mud, the pebble path outside. The corners just don't connect. Are you saying here? I'm assuming this is what you're talking about, right? But let me know if that's accurate. If you're still here. If you're here, I can pretty easily probably tell you why it's not lining up like how mine is. Yeah, so the key with these, I'm not sure if you've built it the same way I have or not. That's the key. So if this is redundant, sorry. But each pagoda wall is built on its own grid for my build. So this is completely separate from this. And this, and this, and the wall back there, and this wall. And those all the way, it looks like it's connected. I wish I could show it off with the handy nat, but they don't have the ghost mode anymore. The corners clip into these columns. That's why it looks as clean as it does. But you can kind of see where this stuff is starting, like overlaps and doesn't meet properly. So what you have to do is build each wall out from this center block. So like essentially I placed this block right here. You have to like perfectly center it, and I lined it up here so you could still see the ash cement. That's sort of why it's offset there. But you have to get these perfectly centered, or as perfect as you can, because then when you build each wall out like this, where they clip into the stuff like that pagoda wall, it's all hidden. But when you start building outside of the pagoda wall, that's where these corners start to not meet properly, depending on how well you laid it out in the beginning. So each wall, so see how I've done like these down here? These are all on this grid. And then these are built out. So like this wall, this whole elevator thing is all built on its own grid. And so you have to build each side out separately, and then they clip, which it's hard to tell with the pebble floors. They kind of clip together really cleanly, but this is essentially one there and one there like this, and these are different grids. So it's a very complicated build. It's really easy once you get it set up properly, but at the beginning it's really complicated and annoying. And I've been saying I'm going to make a guide on how I built this, but it's such a complicated build. It's really hard to make a cohesive video on, so I have been postponing and procrastinating on it. But that's the only way you can get these to line up like this. So like these two happen to be perfect because I did a better job here, but then like these two are not even close. So it's unfortunately just kind of how the build goes. You just make do with how it kind of works. So some things have, because of how I've built this, like this is a different grid than this one. So like they have some weird interactions, and it creates unique, interesting builds, but it doesn't always line up in like a perfect section everywhere. I wish they all looked like that, but I'm not quite that good. What do you mean I'm quick? In how I talk, how I build, how I explain things, how I run around in the game because I have every quickness item available. I indeed also started after the third try with a grass plank. Yeah. The biggest suggestion I can give is, so I used a grass plank and they're not as perfect as they could have been. Use a burr floor, because at least with this you get like thirds, so you have a better visualization of like how this is lining up in the center. I think the burr floor specifically is a lot easier. Even, and you could even that's pretty much the same. Yeah, whichever one you want to use, but I think the burr floors, and they're perfectly parallel. So when you're trying to line them up, so they line up, because another thing you have to do is make sure that the two walls are as parallel as possible. So you don't have like this gap and this gap being different, because that wall is like angled. Sort of hard to explain because I have it all built. But the more parallel you get it, the better. And the grass plank is not perfectly parallel. You can kind of line it up against the pagoda wall in these areas next to it to get the idea. And the way I like to do it, and this may be over-explaining, you can line it up pretty easily just using the pagoda walls when you don't have all this garbage here. It's pretty easy to get it parallel. Then move it over to a spot like this where you don't have stuff built when you're just starting, and then copy this, because this will keep it on the same grid or like rotation, like the angle here. It's clicking to all sorts of stuff over there, but if you keep this angle and like build it over to there, then you can copy this one and then just move it, place it, try to get it centered. If it's not as centered as you want, you destroy it, copy it again, and then you keep moving it around until it's like as perfectly centered. And then you just do that on each side. And then once you do that, you're just building walls to fill in the gaps, and it's really easy from there. It's just the first placement. Dope builds, man. Keep up the good work. I'm off to give some stuff a shot. Oh yeah, take care. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out, man. Glad you enjoyed the builds. Hope to see you again. This is what we do. So I'm usually here Monday through Fridays, I feel like typically there's one day off a week in there where I can't stream because I have a 1.5-year-old, which makes life a little more difficult and inconsistent. But I'm usually here 3 to 4 nights a week between Monday and Friday. Streaming grounded. Might be throwing in some other building games as well soon, like Enshrouded. Especially as we get closer to finishing up the sandbox build. Because once we finish the sandbox build, I don't really have enough build limit left to continue building in this world. So I might have to move to Playgrounds, and I don't know if I want to do that as often. So I might be playing more Enshrouded once we finish this. If I can really get into the game more. Sort of the goal, at least. A lot, and worries there's not such an... Yeah, it's a complicated way to explain it. Because it's a complicated build, but you can also my Discord was open. If you would like to join my Discord, that is a really great place to be able to send images, which makes all of the explanation and stuff we're doing here like 1,000 times easier with pictures and stuff. So if you join the Discord and you have questions, not only it can be about the pagoda build, if you have your own builds that you want to work on, like, and you want to ask questions or get ideas, there's a ton of quite a few people in there building and doing cool stuff as well. It's a great place to ask questions just in general about building if you have them. What's up, Zephyr? Good to see you again. Question is, entrance probably needs center. Probably need to start thinking about how far out this goes. We did... I don't want to go too close. I guess I really just wanted to incorporate this, which could easily become like that. Definitely does not need to be 3 wide. Could be like a secret entrance or a cellar entrance sort of looking thing. So we'll just have to see how it goes. We'll probably end up like this, but who knows? This entrance might completely change directions and stuff to make it fit better. I don't hate... This all raises up to here probably, then maybe just like over here there's another set of stairs that go down. Maybe this side of the castle's all this tall. All the way around. It's not a bad idea. A telehub? Kind of. I haven't done a good job at finishing it. Okay, well. I have the start of a teleporter hub area. When you come up to the upper part of the pagoda, instead of what used to be, you'd go up a bounce tower, and it would take you all the way to the top with a massive tower that had a zipline hub. I got rid of all of that. I still need to delete all of this. And now you go up to a teleporter hub. So I've got the starts of it, but I still need to place a bunch of the teleporters around the whole map. Like, I have a bunch here. I don't have half as many around the world. I have them, like, to the main areas and boss arenas, but other than that, I don't have a ton of them. I've been trying to figure out how I want to, like, since I'm kind of working off of what I already built, and I really like this, and I know I can make the top now better. I just kind of blew everything up and then topped it off so it wasn't horrible, but I want to change this too. I haven't quite figured out how I want to make this look yet. So once I have a better idea, I'll get it all finished. But I'm not necessarily rushing it right now. Even though it would be useful. It would be very useful to have that done. Want that out with me. I want to test it for a little later. In the Discord, thanks for the invite. I'll add it when I'm home again. Yeah, no problem. If you scroll like all the way back in the grounded chat to the very beginning, I actually helped a guy completely rebuild the entire pagoda piece by piece. Like, he built it exactly like I did. So there is almost like a photographic, like, Lego build sequence of images in that grounded Discord chat. If you want to go back, and if you have questions about like how something looks, like, you can almost follow our conversation through the entire thing, which should make building it a lot easier. My hub is at the front of the shed. If you look up there, you can get inside the window. Yeah, I've seen a couple builds in that little crack, I think is where it is. I've seen a couple builds in there, I think. It's a nice little spot to do it, though. That over there. Could do towers, probably, to get rid of these. Kind of thinking, no clue how these goes on at this point, but if I were to build, I want to add some extra little towers. These could be like the whoever the highest ranking people are in the City Watch, would have like their living quarters, and like tower here and a tower here. Maybe I'm thinking maybe this needs to go like here. Something like that. Maybe it goes the opposite. Like, could go bigger. Who knows? And just have some simple little roof structure, but kind of like these areas being a little bit raised and sort of making some type of, like, the inside of this is open is sort of the main idea. There'll be like weapon stands, and this is where like the archery things would go. So I'd need to create some spaces for that stuff as well. But then you could sort of have like these raised platform almost up here, where you could like look down on the training grounds and stuff. So it makes sense to put the higher ranking stuff up here. At least my first general thought. And then there'll be some more little buildings around the edge of this. Insert random places. I don't quite know where yet. Or even a little building here. Like, store some random crap and something here that's just something like this big. Probably wants to be the whole thing maybe slightly larger than what I'm currently working with, but I don't have too much space to use, so I don't want to go crazy. So they can be like rough quarters. It also doesn't need to be like where people live necessarily. It's just like, oh, well, you're on duty all night, so you got to have like a bed and a place to chill. But it doesn't necessarily have to be anything like too amazing. It's the builder's justification. Essentially, you gotta like, can't really make this stuff much bigger than I did. Scale works for it, so now we gotta work with the space that the sandbox gives us. Which is why I saved the housing for last, because it's kind of the most flexible. Guess it just needs to be big enough to do something like... Yeah, that's the issue with this. Gotta be this whole thing bigger. Was that big a tower? I guess I could do 2 roofs almost, making it look like 2 towers. It doesn't necessarily have to be 2 towers. That's one way to do it. Or maybe divide it more at the top. And it could be way longer out here. There. Or there. Then like one set of stairs goes up, like in the corner. Minimum. That. And that. And that. And it's got to be wider. Dang it. Maybe like there. Yeah, because it's got to be big. Dang. It's the only struggle with this stair setup. That's probably plenty high enough, but those got a lot bigger than I was planning. That necessarily a problem? I don't know. Bigger might be a bit better, honestly. You never know. And it could almost step down a place and go back up. Somewhere. Something. Could even get step over, maybe. That could work. It gets a little. Need enough of a roof there, so I might have to raise it even taller. This is what, 3 wide base. Honestly, not. I'm probably the only person who's even understanding what I'm doing here, but just trying to get this initial rough layout done before we go too crazy. I mean, these are actually like almost the size of a room currently, so I don't hate being like it would start to look like 2 towers now. slightly bigger than planned, but I don't know. Could be good. They're probably going to be a little bit easier to design the insides of if I have a little bit of space as well. Although they may not look like 2 towers necessarily all the way on the outside of the base, can look like it on the inside of the base. There can be somewhere in connect or something. There can be a little walkway sort of thing here too. So it would need to be 1 higher. Close. Yeah, then you go there, and then it's like that maybe, and then do a door somewhere into here. Something like that. And the quarters themselves are there, and then this could be usable like storage space and stuff. Sort of the idea. That makes sense. And then maybe there's some stairs that go up to this level here. This stuff gets all covered. Who knows? Something like that. This all gets filled in as well. Yeah, then you got like a little entrance space there. The wall continues this way. And the main entrance is maybe in here. The entrance of some kind is in here. Even make this sort of like the secret little entrance down to this. Almost make it just look, instead of a secret entrance, it's maybe just like a cellar entrance. So like that out of the way. And this, that. Save some more space, you know? Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. Mountain. Tunnel. That doesn't quite work, but we could do it here. There's the floor. There. Then you go like that. Get rid of these stairs that are overkill. Look at all these wasted blocks. I could even do this again. Yeah, that works. Get this out of here. Oh, I like moving blocks. Then, of course, we had something like who knows? All I know is we'll go down something like this. This might all move as well to use less blocks here, but really just a secret entrance to get down to that last little space. So that's kind of how I like to think of my secret passageways and stuff, is most of them are made to get to like one specific thing that's on the map somewhere, where like there's technically a burgle chip down there. So something I still want access to, and if I can find like an interesting way to sort of incorporate it into a build, I think that's kind of fun. Or maybe this just looks like a little storage shed or something. Doesn't have to be anything beautiful. But a little shed adds a little detail, and then it's a functional little base addition. Kind of the way I like to think about that stuff. Function and form are nice. Sure. Should work. Of course, all of these things are going to get vastly more detailed as we get, but this is just currently how I'm thinking about it. Got to start somewhere. This is typically where I start with rough structures, and then I tend to like get an inspiration from what I started that then like inspires me to like make something bigger and better. Or more detailed, maybe not even bigger necessarily, but more interesting visual. Yeah, you got stairs on each side. This could, in theory, come in one. Necessarily need to be perfect squares. But since we can still fit through that, I don't necessarily hate it. I don't know if it's worth worrying about too much. Less useful there, I guess. Wish they made that a block. Just this little thing. Toss that on there so I can use it here. Don't get stuck in these weird situations. This is coming together though. Didn't necessarily do a massive amount tonight, but got some burgle chips, got some other stuff done. Got some ideas down on paper for how this is going to start looking. And honestly, I think there's going to be a really cool little spot for this. Like, I'm already really liking visually how this wall looks in this space. I think it fits really well. It's like the mushrooms and the trees. This little elevator thing is going to be a great location. More mushrooms and trees here. This will get way more interesting as I flesh it out. Then continuing the wall around, right around there, gives me a better idea of how I'm going to start dealing with this situation and how the housing is going to be built into this area as well. Definitely, I mean, this is the hardest part of building in general, I think. Getting these original, like, the very beginnings of a base. I think once you get that first bit of foundation down and you start like fleshing the idea out, getting blocks down, it starts to get easier to come up with little details and stuff. And that's where I hope my random details and designs will give people ideas, kind of like oh, I could steal this rampart idea or this little like slit window idea and like use that in my own way. Oh, I can make a cooler staircase than what he did, because honestly, you probably can. There are many different ways to build in this game, so I love getting started and then seeing where things go and just slowly adding and changing details around. This is when it's like, okay, so now I've like created these weird situations. How do I like resolve the design now? So like, I had a raised spot. How do I make it come down? How can I like create a story behind why this space is higher than the other area, and how to fill in the random space? Typically some form of like a story is the way I like to think of it. I get that from Ludarev, who's not here anymore tonight, but he thinks of everything as story, and it makes things a lot easier to think through when you give it a purpose and a reason. But like each one of these sort of, although elaborate and ridiculous, sort of has like a story of like, it's a great hall, it's a temple, it's a cathedral with like a worship area, it's a bathhouse for hot tubs. That was pointless. It was just fun. The workshop that I had to build like chest storage and stuff, and this is just ridiculous for no reason other than being the original tower over the sandbox, the sandcastle, and then these walls all just cover the sandcastle, and then a wizard's tower, of course. Trying to logically fit things in an observatory with like a telescope. You gotta have a little tower to get up to it, and just create little stories within the base that you're building. At least the way I like to think of it. Yeah, these are gonna be all covered. These are going away. I believe. Well, I guess they would just be doing inside the building, which seems to probably to defeat the purpose of it. So yeah. Means this one goes away too. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Doesn't really make sense to put them in places like you can't really get to this one, but it doesn't make sense to put these here if you could get inside the building. It probably doesn't make sense anyways to do it here, and this is where the grand entrance will be. Whatever that looks like. Probably copying something of the design of this, but I gotta think through that a little bit more of how I want to do that. Do like slit window on each side. Something like that. Also make this a bit cooler entrance with some of the other stuff design ideas I found recently that I really like. Like more of a door shape, maybe these palisades sit in between these walls and create like a drawbridge sort of door, but maybe it's just not. Maybe it is just an entrance. I don't know. It's always the tough part to figure out, is start answering why some of these things start doing stuff. Or it might make sense to just do that. Can't really fill in the arch, but I mean, it makes sense. Spacing's kind of fine. Could adjust it to center it here, though, maybe. But I don't know if it needs to be centered necessarily. Could also sort of raise it up here, too. Sort of, how this raises up, but I don't know, maybe it's just towers that stick up or some squares. Could be. Would make sense. Bit of this on top of the... At least like this, yeah. We're getting to the point where it's very difficult to see what the heck I'm doing because there's a lot of blueprints in the way. I don't hate this. I hate that. Maybe I find a little thing to cap on top of there or something. Those go away, so that doesn't look as weird. For sure know that these aren't going to have wind. But that might... This might get adjusted, we'll see. Kind of depends on how I want to finish out this. I haven't decided how this is all going to work together yet. There's always kind of the struggle. It might look better to shift this over maybe 2 spaces. That means there's 2 there and 1, 1.5. It goes there. Shifts over to there. Honestly, 1.5 and 2 might look fine. Probably going to be good enough. I'll probably move that over. I think that'll make sense. But there's going to be living quarters up here. I kind of have to figure out how to make this separate from everything else. These are the things I think of at night when I'm just sitting there, unable to sleep. How could I make that room work together with another one? How could I do this? Never-ending process. I get all this out of the way, I can destroy it all at once. Then we'll continue the wall. Should be tomorrow. Continue it around, start getting some of these details dialed in. Little by little here. We'll get this stuff added. This will come together pretty quick though, I think, once I start really adding the little details and adjusting some of the stuff, getting the outer wall finished and starting just adding little things like this in. I think it's going to go really, really quick. Typically how it works. But that being said, I'm pretty tired. Chat's pretty slow at this point, so I'm going to call it a night here. At a pretty good stopping point as it is. So I appreciate everyone hanging out once again, especially for all the new people. Feel free to join the Discord. It's a great place to ask questions about building and just the way I think about stuff. See other people's builds, post your builds. There's a bunch of different that you can post, and there's also other games that I built in as that posted stuff in. It's a great place to hang out, chat about building and design and all sorts of stuff, and just hang out with some cool people. But I appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. Y'all have a great rest